Hey everyone, back again. Welcome back to another video review. I do apologize, it's been quite a while since my last video, which obviously was the review of the Age of Extinction film. I'm gonna we're gonna get to that at a later date. But what I wanted to do, guys, is, if you may all remember, I reviewed last year's Stanley Cup final between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Boston Bruins. Obviously, Chicago winning 6 games. You know how I felt about that. It was epic. Now I want to review this year's Stanley Cup final. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's way past the season. That's okay. I know the season was way over, well over a month ago, but I just thought, thought I'd do it. It was also epic too, but its own unique way. So let's begin. Now, one thing, if you instead of doing 5 separate videos, because of course LA beat the Rangers in 5 games, I thought I'd do all 5 games in one video. But I'm going to try and be quick and as fast about it, alright? So let's begin. So obviously, this is the very first time these two teams have met. It was epic. Both of their paths were very similar. Like, the Rangers, start with the Rangers. The Rangers had to beat the Flyers and the Penguins both in 7 games. And the Penguins were up 3-1. That's insane. And then beating the Montreal Canadiens in 6 games. Who'd have thought that'd come? The LA Kings, on the other hand, went a much tougher, grindy, path. They beat the San Jose Sharks, the Anaheim Ducks, and the Chicago Blackhawks all in 7 games. And they were down 3-0 to San Jose. Again, that's pretty insane considering all the past history they've had. I know, it's insane. I know. Anyways. Let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, that's insane. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's pretty incredible for a team that, finished strong at the end at the regular season. And also, but anyways. So now, let's get on to each of the games individually, and we'll talk about them. Here we go. Alright, so here we go. In the first period, Benoit Pouliot, of all people, he's pretty much a dirty player. I'm not saying he's a dirty player, he's just... Anyways, that's another story. Intercepts a pass from Drew Doughty, goes on a breakaway, snipes it over Jonathan Quick, 1-0 Rangers. And then later on in the period, Carl Hagelin just banks it off Slava Voinov's foot and in, makes it 2-0, assisted by Brian Boyle and Ryan McDonough. The Benoit Pouliot goal was unassisted, in case you were wondering. And then late in the first period, Kyle Clifford would get a nice bank shot, off of Henrik Lundqvist, assisted by Jeff Carter, cutting the lead in half. Then in the second period, Drew Doughty, with the highlight reel of the finals, dangles Derek Dorsett and pretty much snipes it over Henrik Lundqvist, tying the game at 2, assisted by Justin Williams and Kyle Clifford at 6:36. And then in the third period, no scoring, obviously, and then chances each way. Both Lundqvist and Jonathan Quick solid in each end. Off to overtime we go. And then in overtime, Dan Girardi gives the puck up to Mike Richards, passes it to Justin Williams, snipes it over Henrik Lundqvist. Game over. And pretty much LA wins the game 3-2 in overtime. So pretty much it was Justin Williams from Mike Richards at 4:36 of the overtime. So yeah, that game was pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty epic. It was not bad. It had its fair shares of up and downs, but other than that, it was pretty epic. So that's really game 1 in a nutshell. Let's head on to game 2. In the first period, obviously we're talking about game 2 now, guys. In the first period, Ryan McDonough unleashes a bullet from the point, making it 1-0 Rangers, assisted by Dominic Moore at 10:48. And then later on, late in the first period, Mats Zuccarello, who's the very first ever Norwegian-born player to play in the finals, good for him, makes it 2-0, assisted by Ryan McDonough and Derek Brassard in 1846. And that's pretty much the scoring in the first. In the second period, Jarrett Stoll scores, breaks a stick, and it pretty much goes off of Kevin Klein and in past Henrik Lundqvist. Makes it 2-1, assisted by Justin Williams and Dwight King. And then later on the power play, Matias Stanley makes it 3-1 Rangers, assisted by Derek Stepan and Chris Kreider at 11:24. And then a little later, Willie Mitchell gets his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Slava Voinov and Justin Williams, making it 3-2. And then late in the second period, Derek Brassard capitalizes on a miscue by Jonathan Quick, makes it 4-2, assisted by Matt Zuccarello. And then, in the third period, a little controversy. Dwight King scores, makes it 4-3, assisted by Matt Green and Justin Williams. So Justin Williams had a pretty like hot-ass night. But obviously the goal, little controversial. I know everyone's saying, oh, it should have been goaltender interference. It wasn't goaltender interference. Anyways, that's another story for that. And then, late at 7:36 of the third period, former New York Ranger Marian Gaborik gets his 13th goal of the playoffs, unassisted, tying the game at 4, sending the game to overtime. Again. I know. Remember last year? With me reviewing Chicago-Boston? Anyways. And then, at 10:26... of the double overtime, because in the first overtime there were a lot of great chances. Kreider had a breakaway that was stopped. LA had like good couple chances. That was it. But in the second overtime, the double overtime, Dustin Brown, Captain Dustin Brown, deflects, tips home a shot, past Henrik Lundqvist, assisted by Willie Mitchell and Anze Kopitar, winning the game 5-4 in double overtime. I know. That's a little insane. So, yeah, that game was very back and forth. Yeah. It was incredible. Not much more could say about it. It was just interesting. Anyways, let's get on to game 3. Alright, in the first period, late in the first period, Jeff Carter risks a shot past Henrik Lundqvist, 1-0 LA, assisted by Justin Williams and Slava Voinov at 19:59 of the first period. And then in the second period, Jake Muzzin on the power play scores, makes it 2-0, assisted by Anze Kopitar and Marian Gaborik, makes it 2-0, 2-0 LA. And then later on in the second period, Mike Richards on a 2-on-1 scores 3-0, assisted by Kyle Clifford. That's the game. Jonathan Quick, 32 save shutout. I believe it's I can't remember. Yeah, it's the ninth. It was the ninth career post-season shutout for Jonathan Quick. And yeah, what a game. This game could have gone either way. New York Rangers almost could have had 2 chances to score when it was no score, and when it was 2-0. Specifically, Matt Zuccarello and Derek Brassard getting robbed by both the post and Jonathan Quick on the same scenario. Wow. I know, it's kind of insane when you look at it, but overall, not bad, and LA is up 3-0. Let's get on to Game 4. Alright, in the first period, Benoit Pouliot, again, scored a very iffy sort of goal. It kind of was over the crossbar, but not really kind of goal. Makes it 1-0 Rangers, assisted by John Moore and Derek Brassard at 7:25 of the first period. And then in the second period, Matthias Stanley makes it 2-0 New York Rangers, assisted by Chris Kreider and Derek Stepan at 6:27 of the second period. And then later on, pretty much, I think it was late in the second period, Dan Girardi turns the puck over again. Dustin Brown scores on a breakaway, beats Lundqvist, cuts the lead in half. In the third period, chances. Either way for the LA Kings. Can't beat Lundqvist, stops 40 of 41 shots, gets the win. Rangers stay alive, and they should not have. And I'll tell you why. There were two... Oh, sorry about the finger, guys. There were two chances. Two chances that LA could have scored. After it was 1-0, after it was 2-1. When it was 1-0 Rangers, just give me a sec here, guys. I'm just a little bit out of sorts here. But when they scored to make it 1-0, LA was on a power play, and man, my God. There were 2 goal line saves, specifically from Anton Strawman in the first period when it was 1-0, and Derek Stepan late in the game. Yeah, hockey gods were not against LA that night, but it's okay. Because, I mean, you look, I mean, the Rangers, they were down 3-1 against the Penguins, came back and won that. Yeah. We'll see how that goes once we talk about Game 5. Let's do that right now. In the first period, Justin Williams opens the scoring. He's a guy that really rarely does open the scoring. Makes it 1-0 New York Ranger. Sorry, I apologize, guys. That was a little out of character for me. But yeah, no. It was 1-0 LA. Sorry. Assisted by Dwight King and Jarrett Stoll at 6:04 of the first period. And then in the second period, sorry if I sounded a little down there, Chris Kreider on the power play ties the game 1-1, assisted by Ryan McDonough and Brad Richards at the second period at 15:37. Little side note on Brad Richards. I've got to mention this in the it was Game 2. He got robbed by Jonathan Quick in the most epic of epic ways in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he was pretty much in the crease. Had a one-timer after Gabrick tied it in the second game, in Game 2, and there you go. Like, what a paradox. It's hard to believe that Gabrick was a Ranger a year ago, but anyways. So yeah. And then late in the second period, Brian Boyle, who looks like a fucking pirate. I'm not even gonna lie. He looks like a pirate or troll. I don't know. Anyways, makes it 2-1 late in the second period, assisted by Carl Hagelin at 19:30. And then in the third period, Zuccarello takes a very controversial penalty. It was clearly a penalty. Everyone's saying, oh, it shouldn't have been, whatever. Anyways, Marian Gaborik, the third overall pick in the year 2000, ties the game at 2, assisted by Drew Doughty and Jeff Carter on the power play at 7:56, sending the game once again to overtime. Wow. Yeah. A lot of overtime in this series. Anyways. So, off to overtime we go, and in the first overtime, chances each way, Dan Girardi hits the post, Ryan McDonough hits the post, Kreider has a breakaway, he's denied again, similar to the one he had in game 2. Toffoli, Tyler Toffoli, a rookie, hits the post, or the crossbar, sorry, and neither goaltender is solved. And then we go to the second overtime. And in the second overtime, at 14:43, Alec Martinez, of all people, scores the Stanley Cup winning goal in the second overtime, his 5th of the playoffs, assisted by Tyler Toffoli and Kyle Clifford, winning the game 3-2 in double overtime and clinching the Stanley Cup. Wow. Honestly, that's insane. I mean, I kind of expected Martinez would get this because he won the series against Chicago, brought the Kings to the final. Okay, see, Martinez beats the Hawks, gets the Kings to the final, beats the Rangers, wins the Cup for the Kings in the final. If you get what I'm saying, that is very, like, I wouldn't say ironic, but I had a feeling it would come. Anyways, but yes, very awesome, and very fitting for Marian Gaborik, specifically because the last year he was just shitted up. Like, the Rangers just absolutely just took a dump, took an absolute big shit on him because, look, I mean, I'll just talk real quick. Daryl Sutter's a very smart coach. Alain Vigneault is a very great coach. This was his second appearance in the final in 4 years for Alain Vigneault. This was Daryl Sutter's second in 2. Anyways, do the math. But both times for Alain Vigneault, this time in 2011, which I will not talk about ever, because that's another story for another time. I already discussed it then. It's over with, and I pretty much used my Chicago-Boston thing to kind of explain it all. Yeah, both times for Alain Vigneault were unsuccessful. Daryl Sutter, obviously, this was his 3rd appearance, obviously 2012 and 2004 with Calgary. Pretty awesome, and obviously, for the guys that ever wanted, specifically Marian Gaborik and Robin Regehr, it was very awesome. And of course, Jeff Schultz and the rookies Tyler Toffoli and Tanner Pearson. That 70s line was fucking unreal in the whole way. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty much Pearson, Toffoli, Carter. That was a great line. Oh, and Justin Williams. Justin Williams was the Conn Smythe winner. Pretty awesome. First Canadian since Jonathan Taves of the Hawks in 2010. Very awesome. Anyways, overall, this was a great final. Last year's final was epic. This year's final was unique in its own way. It was awesome. LA is obviously going to be a dynasty team now that they've won 2 cups in the past 3 years. As for the Rangers, a lot of questions in the air, but still a pretty decent outlook into the future. And what I mean by pretty decent is that there's gonna be a lot of playoff runs. It's gonna probably take them a while before they are a true contender like they were 20 years ago. Because for the Rangers, this was the first in exactly 20 years. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, guys, enough of me talking about the finals. I've already explained my pieces. I've already explained each game. I've already explained, all the circumstances. Anyways, that is my video review of the 2014 Stanley Cup Finals. Very fitting for the some very appropriate corrections by some players, as I've already mentioned. And overall, it was just pretty epic. So, take care, see you soon, everyone. Have a great day. Catch you all later. Bye-bye.